the acts. Number 1. I work art or I work music. I work lecturers, meaning I spent in sculpture, book, fly, piece of music, etc. Example: Shakespeare plays are considered as one of the great works of literature in the English language. Number 2. The eternal quality of something, meaning the quality related to beauty and understanding the beauty of something. Example: one of the advantages of studying the arts is that students learn to appreciate the aesthetic qualities of paintings, literature, and music. Number 3. The portrayal of something or somebody, meaning the act of showing and describing something or somebody in a book, painting, play, or film. Example: in the past, the portrayal of women in art was often as precision as one is by rich men. Number 4. Operator viewing, meaning an occasion when a few people are invited to look at an exhibition of painting before it is open to the public. Example: paintings are sometimes considered as a form of investment and are the lesser grant private viewings for art collectors to purchase work of value. Number 5. To be a connoisseur of, meaning an expert to master involved into a judgment of beauty, quality, or skill in art or music. Example: in order to enjoy beautiful paintings, it is not necessary to be the connoisseur of works of art. Number 6. A priceless portrait, meaning a painting of a person that is extremely valuable. Example: private art collections many sometimes include priceless portraits of kings or queens painted by famous actresses. Number 7. To commission a work of art, meaning to officially ask somebody to paint a picture or compose a piece of music for you. Example: artists in the past often rely on wealthy people to commission paintings or music from them. Number 8. An art movement, meaning a group of artists who share similar ideas. Example: the creative aspect of art is demonstrated by the number of movements over the century, including the Impressionist or Romantic and Modernist. Number 9. Performance art, meaning a form of art in which the artist performs something rather than processing a physical workouts. Example: some tourist destinations offer performance acts by actors to recreate events from local history such as borrow or local legends. Number 9. And number 10. Funding for the arts, meaning the act of providing money for artists, writers, museums, and etc. For example, government funding for the arts encourage people to artists' ability to express their talent to publish. Number 11. A mixed funding model for the artists, meaning a model in which some money to support the act is given by the government and some money is provided by private individuals or commercial organizations. Example: I would argue that a missing funding model for the arts is the best way to support artists, museums, or writers by combining public and private funds and even donations. The imposition in the censorship, meaning the acts of preventing something from being available to the public because it is considered offenses or a political threat. For example, I believe that the imposition of censorship it is sometimes necessary to protect young people from exposure to pornographic writing or image. To stay number 13, to stage a play, meaning to the organize or present a play for people to see. Example: it is important to encourage children to be creative, for example, by staging a school play or displaying their artwork on school open days. 14. A talentless playwright, meaning a person who writes a play or for the theater. For example, directors of theaters must encourage talented playwrights by staging their play for theater goers. 15. To aspire to auditions, meaning to attract or interest those who go to watch a play or film. Example: plays deal with contemporary social issues are likely to appear to the auditions. 16. A lecturer festivals or a book festivals, meaning a regular gathering of the writer and readers in a particular city, perhaps every year. Example: one way in which to attract tourists to a city is to stay an annual lecturer festival and invite well-known writers to attend. 7. Literary and artistic heritage, meaning the tradition of writing or painting that the country, city, or the town has there for the many years. Distinguished since did it as important part of its characters. For example, visitors to Brighton can enjoy the rich literary and artistic heritage by going to such a place as the birthplace of Shakespeare and the National Art Gallery in London. 18. To express oneself, meaning to communicate some idea or emotion through speech, writing, painting, music, or some other form of art. For example, schools should encourage pupils to express themselves through art, music, or creative writing in order to stimulate their imagination. 19. Work of literary fiction. Many types of literature which describe imaginary people or even events, not real one. For example, it takes emotions creatively to write works of literary fiction, and their creative writer are rarely considered literary genius. 20. A literary genius, meaning a person with outstanding ability in writing. Example: although not every child will become a literary genius, it is still important to students to practice creative writing at school. 21. Street musicians, meaning people who play a musical instrument in the streets to get money from the passers-by. For example, street musicians are an entertaining feature of cultural life in many cities. 22. Genres of music, meaning particular types of style of music. Example: different genres of music tend to be favored by different age groups, with classic music more popular among the earlier. 2030. To take up a music instrument, meaning to start to learn to play a musical instrument. For example, schools should encourage all those children who are interested to take up a musical instrument. 24. Live music, meaning music that is not recorded. It is performed at the same time as people listen to it. For example, without funding from governments, it is doubtful whether live music was service. 25. A concert venue, meaning a place where people go to listen to live music as an organized event. For example, cities offer many cultural attractions for music love, such as Paris Opera. 26. A resident orchestra, meaning a large group of people who play musical instruments together in the same avenue. Example: in most cities, a resident orchestra must receive a subsidy from the local authority in order to survive financially. 27. An opera house, meaning a dedicated building such as theater or other venue in which the performance is seen while the orchestra plays music. For example, the financial costs of running an opera house are very high, and so ticket price to see an opera house are expensive. 28. Folk songs, meaning songs in the traditional style of a country or community. Example: traditional folk songs are part of cultural heritage of a nation or region. 29. Popular music, meaning music of the time was listened to by a large number of people with a strong rhythm and simple touch. Example: it could be a pity if young people only listening to popular or pop music and has no knowledge of traditional folk songs. 30. To sing in a church, meaning to sing in a group of people, for example, in a church or public performance. Example: one way that schools can encourage children to enjoy the music is to give them an opportunity to sing in a school choir, hát, động, ca.